Howdy folks, I'm Youthful Yeti, yawningly yammering about yodeling yams.
I'm Amber.
And here are more yodeling yams for us to yammer on about. I guess we're big fans of them. I mean, there's not much to do when you're in the Arctic, so let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Teaching or Doing a Project with My Daughter, but Teaching My Son? So I'm a 38-year-old male, and I work as a software engineer, and was recently promoted to a staff engineer. I have 2 kids, and my son is 16, and my daughter is 12. Well, when my son was younger, I used to spend time teaching him how to code. Back then, I had a lot more free time, and there weren't any of the AI tools or coding assistants that exist now. He wasn't very self-motivated, so it was more like a chore for both of us, and honestly, it is still sometimes. I keep helping him a bit, because otherwise, he would probably stop completely. My daughter, on the other hand, is very self-driven. She started learning on her own and has been doing great. She's already experimenting with low-level stuff that I haven't touched since college. What's funny is that she doesn't really use any of the AI tools that could make things easier. I even offered to pay for a premium subscription to one for her, but she basically barely touches it. My daughter's approach is a lot more academic and more like following a CS degree and doing projects, and I have forgotten most of those things and would have to relearn them myself to teach her. My wife thinks that I'm being unfair because I'm not teaching our daughter the same way I did with our son. She said that even if I didn't formally teach her, I should at least make an app with her since my daughter mentioned wanting to do a project together. I told her that I honestly don't have the time right now. My job is a lot more demanding since the promotion, and I'm already stretched thin just keeping up with helping with my son. Now my wife is upset that I'm sending the wrong message and that my daughter will think that I care more about my son and that I don't take her interests seriously. I don't mean it that way at all. She's already doing great without my help, while my son needs more guidance to stay on track. Am I the jerk for not teaching my daughter how to code or doing a project with her when she's already self-motivated and my time is limited? It's not like she's learning things. She's better in some areas than my son despite being younger, and she's always been gifted at school, especially in math. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're a major jerk. Take a hint. Your son does not want to learn how to code. You've been pushing this on for him for years and he's still not interested. You admit yourself he probably wouldn't be doing it if you weren't forcing him to.
Yeah.
Now, your daughter is interested and motivated. She is the child you should be investing in. Both children would probably be happier if you invested your time and energy in her. But it seems very one-sided if you're only focusing on your son and your daughter, you're just like, you'll figure it out on your own.
It would be different, I think, if he was really passionate about it and he was just really struggling, right? And the daughter, she could learn it very easily without the same kind of struggle. But it doesn't sound like he's interested, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, if he doesn't really have any motivation to figure this out or learn it, maybe he should go and find a interest that in something that he is passionate about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you find a passion, you're going to want to do that a whole lot more and not need a lot of guidance or anything like that, right?
Yeah, well, I understand that computer science is really important to OP,
Mm-hmm.
but your son is not your mini-me.
Well, that's just it. It's like the parents who encourage their kids to become lawyers because they're a lawyer, or they're a doctor because they're a doctor, and really push them in this one career direction when there are a lot of other careers out there, right?
Yeah, like he can still have a happy, fulfilling, and meaningful life and not be an expert computer programmer.
And also, you're going to need a lot more passion in the future with the rise of AI and stuff like that. The one thing that's going to separate a mediocre coder from a really good coder is passion. With the daughter being passionate about this, she's probably going to be a much better position to actually succeed in computer science than the son is, right? And I think that OP should spend more time with their daughter. I'm not saying that they should stop spending time with their son altogether, but they need to make it a little more equitable, right?
Right. I mean, in general, parents should balance their time between their children.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's doing, it doesn't have to be like programming stuff. Although if when your kid is really interested in programming, that's a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't be investing all your time and energy in just one of your children. That's very clear and obvious favoritism.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Neutral party, bad vibes.
I mean, Wheel, this one was super easy.
The wheel doesn't want to get involved
We,
because they're afraid of the programming consequences
I
behind
mean,
the scene.
oh, that's true. They're like, what if the dad is like really this super expert programmer?
And Homely Hobbit says, you're the jerk. You're rewarding your son's laziness while punishing your daughter's drive. Why not put the energy into the child who's actually interested in the topic? And Purple Shallot 3731 says, you're the jerk and your daughter won't forget it. Being self-motivated doesn't override the impact of the lack of action on your part. I promise. I told her that I honestly don't have the time right now. We make time for things that are important. Maybe your employer should be aware that you have bad time management skills. And you're the jerk. You're making a conscious decision to prioritize your son. She's always been gifted at school, especially in math. Yeah, and any former gifted student will tell you, in hindsight, it's basically a punishment in many respects. One of which is the reasoning that we're discussing. You're the jerk. You also sound like you're trying to force your son to be like you, which is honestly just pathetic. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Locking My Boyfriend Out After He Kept Correcting How I Clean? My boyfriend is a 29-year-old male, and he came over while I was cleaning and decided to quote-unquote help. Except his version of helping was standing behind me saying stuff like, you missed a spot, and you're supposed to wipe with a grain. I told him that if he had so many opinions, he should do it himself. And he said that I was quote-unquote too emotional. So I told him to get out and cool off. He laughed and thought that I was joking, so I locked the door behind him. And he's been blowing up my phone saying that I overreacted. My apartment has never been cleaner, though. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, if he wants to critique your cleaning skills, then he can do the job himself. Otherwise, he just needs to be quiet. Like, it doesn't sound like OP was maliciously sabotaging this, and it also sounds like it's OP's house. So, like, it doesn't sound, again, it just sounds like he wanted to critique for the sake of critiquing and being a know-it-all, and that's not okay.
You know, I think thought he was being funny. Because there are sometimes, like, when, being a supervisor and stuff like that, where it's supposedly like a funny thing where you can tell people what to do and stuff like that. And I'm hoping he was just trying to be cute or funny or something like that. But he took it too far if OP got this annoyed at it, right? And I think that OP had every right to kick him out and show him that he is not being funny and that this is something that he shouldn't just sit around and do, right? Because, like, maybe this time it was a joke, but maybe next time it won't be a joke. Maybe it'll be him, doing this forever, right? So I don't know. I just think that OP did the right thing here, and that they shouldn't tolerate being followed around and told how to clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Venture Bird Day says, he gets to decide how you feel. He gets to decide how the work is done. He gets to decide what is too much, and he gets to decide when you are and are not justified in feeling frustrated. May I recommend getting him a mirror so that perfection can be more accessible to him. Not the jerk, I found it exhausting to read this. And Gravitational Lens says, my friend had a boyfriend like yours. He loved coming into her apartment, which she bought with her own hard-earned money, just to tell her that he would have made better design choices and that her taste was poor. Then he ate her food that she made and said that she wasn't even a good cook, though he never helped make it. She missed those red flags, and when they moved in together, he started nagging her, and eventually he became violent. Learn to recognize the signs. He doesn't help, but he wants to humiliate you and blows up your phone to tell you how emotional and unstable you are. Are you sure it's wise to keep him as your boyfriend? And he's 29? Don't be the jerk to yourself. He sounds insufferable. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, I cannot stand my girlfriend's gym/food/beauty influencer fake online persona. So I met my girlfriend on Hinge about 6 months ago. Of course, people put their best photos up, and I'm always cautious. There are so many filters that people use to alter their looks. No, it isn't just angles and lighting and makeup, and so on. Like people will try to gaslight you into believing. Filters do work magic. I am a millennial guy, and my photos are honest as they can get. I have never been in a rush to get dates or felt that I needed to lie with my pictures. I've been catfished a handful of times, and meeting my current girlfriend was really no different. Her pictures look sort of like her in real life, but clearly she took some creative liberties. Regardless, we hit it off, and I never brought up her profile made up of pictures from her college. I didn't know that at the time. And for the current photos, she used a slimming filter along with a beauty face slimming filter. The problem is that she's got a pretty massive following on TikTok and Instagram and promotes a lifestyle and positivity that's clearly made up. She makes a lot of money lying to people and eating it up. Does she go to the gym? Yes, for little clips to post. Does she eat what she cooks in videos? Absolutely not. Most of the time, I eat them, as she hates fish and broccoli and rice. Every single video and picture are heavily edited. Even the audio recording software brings her voice up a pitch a little bit. She did a weight loss journey for a summer body last year, and she told me how she did it. She used the filter, making her slightly larger, and drank a ton of milk beforehand to look super bloated, and then just casually edited the videos over time, looking thin. She lost 0 weight during the time, and everyone, and I mean everyone, was complimenting her in the comments. She even made a manufactured drama in the past for views. I got robbed and I got catcalled by a gym manager. She's got like 7 videos falsely saying that she's had some guy hit on her at the gym. Not assault her, but like hit on her when it didn't happen. How do I know? She's told me. It gets ridiculous engagement and views. She deletes any negative comments or ones that mention filters. I don't know, I could go on and on. Maybe I'm just ranting to say, ladies and gentlemen, please stop believing what you believe and see as an influencer post. Most of it can be or is lies. I've been getting the courage to ask her to move out, but I'm worried how she'll react. I know that she'll make online posts about it, and I fear what that might entail. But meh, such is life, I guess. I don't believe any influencer, even if they seem genuine. Lol, you literally do not know them, and you literally cannot tell who is genuine. Edit. Why have I been with her? Well, she's sweet and a funny girl. I really love the time we spend together. But she's obsessed with social media though. And anytime we discuss it, she gets incredibly nasty and turns it into a, you're just jealous because you don't have social media. I literally don't have a personal page on anything and I don't care. I hate how this is how she makes a lot of money, lying, and none of it is real. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I think it was probably about time that they just go their separate ways. They are very clearly incompatible people.
Yeah.
I definitely understand OP's frustrations here. I think what she is doing is very manipulative and not okay.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a big problem in our society, is that these people post things purporting to be like their real life, and a lot of it is just absolutely faked. And it gives people unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
And then people feel like failures when they don't end up looking like this manufactured image.
Yeah, and that is a big problem with social media. And there are a lot of people who lie out there, and they don't, they deceive people, even if they lie by omission, right? Mm-hmm. And manufacture drama and all those kinds of things. You know, at the end of the day, as long as you're happy in your life, that's what's important, right? And, jealousy is the thief of happiness, as they say.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. That's another one, right? And that's really what it boils down to. Be happy in what you have, and you don't have to lie about what you don't have, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it really frustrates me, though, because I do know what OP is talking about here, because there's these people who will post, like, they'll rent a Lamborghini or something like that, and they'll take pictures with it and be like, I made a bag or something like that, And it's all just lies to get engagement and to have people kind of like follow them. Because if you're successful and, wealthy and stuff like that, you must be doing something right. So you're worth following, right? And I think that that's disingenuous a lot of times. Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Misunderstanding the Word Chapstick for My Whole Life. So this is mildly embarrassing, but I have to live with it. So you might as well get a laugh out of it. Earlier today, I was hanging out with a friend. We'll call him Ryan because that's his name. We were supposed to meet up and run some errands, and I texted him, meet me at the store real quick. I need to grab some chapstick. Now, all my life, I genuinely thought it was 2 words. I know, like chapstick, like a stick that belongs to a chap. It makes perfect sense in my head. Somewhere deep in my brain, that felt grammatically correct. A chap like me has dry lips, therefore I need my chapstick. I've been saying it that way for years, even to other people, but no one ever corrected me. So in my head, that's how it's always been. And in my defense, if you've never texted it, never typed it into Google, and only ever said it out loud, your brain just kind of fills in the blanks with whatever makes sense. Every time I reached into my pocket in the winter, I pulled out my trusty chapstick. But with Ryan, I texted it out for the first time, and he immediately roasted me. He said, "You mean chapstick, right? One word." Now, when I tell you the realization hit me like a freight train, I'm not exaggerating. I could literally feel my brain buffering, repaying the last 15 years, like wait, has it always been one word? When I actually met up with him, I tried to play it off, but there was no way to make it sound better. Like, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, haha, that's what I meant. My finger slipped. No, it was over. So of course, I had to endure 2 solid hours of non-stop roasting from Ryan, who followed me around the store, doing this fake British accent, saying things like, "Oi, chap, might you spare a stick for me chapped lips?" And, good heavens, where might a gentleman procure some of this chap's stick you speak of? Then he started texting our group chat about it, screenshots were sent, and memes were made. And then someone changed my contact name to that chap's stick in their phone. Ryan was still laughing when we got back to the car. I tried to defend myself. I said, "Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's the stick for chaps." But he kept laughing even harder. Every time I look at that little tube now, I can practically hear Ryan's voice saying, "Oi, chap, care for a dab of your stick." So yeah, that's the tale of how I was betrayed by my brain. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, hopefully OP will be able to look back on this and laugh. We all have these mistaken moments where we think something is one thing and then we later realize it's another.
Yeah.
And, it honestly is no big deal in the scheme of things.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, we had a Game Boy, and for some reason, when I read the dot matrix with stereo sound, I thought it said "don't mix with sunlight," because I think we had just gotten taught, because my dad had said something like it's not good to play those in the sunlight because they can hurt the screen or something like that. And so my brain was just like, oh, don't mix with sunlight, right? But I was also dyslexic,
Yeah.
right? And so I think some of it was just that, as a kid, I had a much harder time reading in that respect. And so it was really difficult for me to parse words and stuff like that. And so, I think that we all have misconceptions, and there's nothing wrong with that. And no one needs to be bullied because of their misconceptions either, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it was funny, and I thought that OP told it in a very funny way.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the ballerina get so many compliments?
Well, because they did a curtsy. I don't know.
Because their style was always on point.
Makes sense.
And it's World Ballet Day and National Deviled Egg Day.
Oh, so go do some ballet with a deviled egg. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a hodgepodge for Hodgepodge Sunday.
Don't bully your children. Don't manipulate people into thinking your life is something it isn't. And have a little grace with people when they make silly blunders.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.